Hey guys, it's Tink, avid bookworm and aspiring author, and today I'm going to be taking you along with me as I have a look at how well I've done so far in my yearly goals for 2026. Straight off the bat, I'm going to say at the rate I'm going, I'm not going to reach my reading goal, but I have a chance with my writing goal, and I feel like it's actually a pretty strong chance. But before we get to that, what even are my reading and writing goals for this year? So my writing goal is to write 12,000 words total. Doesn't matter which books I write those words in or how many books I write, it just has to be at least 12,000. This equates to about 1,000 words a month, 250 a week, or just over, I think, 32 words a day, which I feel like that's pretty manageable. And I'll likely use the number that I reach this year as the goal for next year. Now, my reading goal is to read 50 books this year. I only read 14 books last year, which is not great compared to 50, but it's a lot better than some of the previous years that I've had. The reason I picked 50 was because towards the end of last year, I ended up reading a lot more than I had in the beginning half of the year, so I thought I would carry that over to this year and read more books throughout the entire year. I also decided that rereading a book from a previous year would count towards my goal, but reading the same book twice in the year would only count once. This would kind of help me out with reaching that 50 goal if I ended up rereading a book from a series that I'd previously read that I wanted to go back and read again. But I guess now, let's have a look at how many days so far this year that I've read and written. Yeah, that's not a lot for either reading or writing. The days highlighted in pink are the days I wrote, and the ones in blue are the days that I read. The purple ones are where I did both. So yeah, I think I might have potentially lost the title of avid reader, and I'm probably going to have to change from an aspiring author to an occasional writer. But let's actually look at the numbers. So you can see here in January, I did pretty good. I did over triple the word count that I needed to get to for January when I got 3,605 words. You can also see here I did DNF one book. That will be an upcoming video, so I don't want to spoil it for you too much, but yeah, I've been working on that for a very long time. February, I did pretty good as well. Again, triple the word count required, but I didn't finish any books. When it says 0 books, it doesn't mean I didn't read anything. It just means I didn't finish the book. And yeah, if you kind of sneak ahead, you can see that I didn't finish any books in March, April, or May, but I did write. So March, I didn't hit the 1,000 word goal, but I did get close, almost halfway. But I feel because of the fact that I did really well in February and January, I wasn't too mad at myself because I knew 12,000 was my goal, and I would probably have a few months like this where I would do, I say badly, but I wouldn't hit the 1,000 goal. But I've already had months where I have, so I felt like it was fine. And then you can see in April I did 1,261, which is 261 more than the average that I was aiming for. So again, see, I feel like I made up for it there. May and June, I did fall off a little bit there, a little bit hard. 44 words in June and 44 in May and 30 in June. But I did finish 2 books in June. So I read the Book of Azrael, which I did try and start right after I DNF'd the other book, but that book had really kind of put me off reading for a little bit, so it actually did take me 6 months of trying to read the book before I actually read it, but it did take me, I think, about 8 days to read once I did sit down and read it. I restarted it in June and I finished it in June. Also, in the middle of the Book of Azrael, I kept getting a lot of Instagram reels about the book Lights Out, and from what I had seen, and it kept referencing the scene with the balaclava, I was like, this is not exactly what I like. This is not exactly my thing, so I wasn't originally planning on reading it, and then I thought, you know what, like, it's one scene, I'll give the book a go. So I did finish it, but I don't think I'll proceed with if there are any more books in the series. I do believe there are, but I don't think I'm going to finish them. I generally don't DNF books. I have to be kind of pushed to an extreme to not finish it, or I have to not be mature enough for the book. And this one, look, it wasn't bad. There were scenes that I thought were funny. I wanted to know what happened. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone if you want to read it, but the family thing, I wanted to know what happened with that, the plot of the story, basically. I wanted to know what happened, but I don't think I'll be reading the rest of it. So yeah, I did read that in the middle, and that kind of gave me the motivation to go back and read the rest of the Book of Azrael, and I finished that pretty quickly as well. And then yeah, I haven't read since. So hopefully for the next half of this year I can get some more reading done. I am currently on break from uni, and that has been one major thing that has prevented me from reading and writing. I say prevented me, but more like I've just lost the motivation to, because I've been tired. And another thing with the word count is I am not necessarily counting writing at uni as writing. I do creative writing at uni from time to time, and some days I don't count it, some days I do, but that is never added to this word count because it's an assessment. I don't know, it is still creative writing, but to me it's an assessment, so it is separate to this. So I have counted days I've written that I've been proud of the work that I've handed in at uni, but I've decided not to count it in my word count. So it's a little bit like I am writing a little bit more often than I say I am compared to the words that I'm counting in the word count, if that makes any sense. Because of the fact that I'm not tracking days, it's not a part of my goal. I don't mind tracking those days that I do write for uni, but because it's not a part of my word count, I'm not tracking it for those reasons. But yeah, I'm also not counting reading anything for uni as well for the same purposes. It's classwork. It's to me in the same context of reading a textbook. And I do read those days. I don't count them in my reading or my finished books either. But yeah, I do reading in class from time to time. So I still get to do reading, but because of the fact that I'm busy at uni and trying to have a life and all, working and things like that, it has put a little pin in my reading and writing. But I am hoping that after I get a lot of this work done, that I'll find some more time to read and write. Because yeah, you kind of can't become an author if you don't write something, and you can't, I say you can't call yourself an author, a reader, sorry. You can call yourself a reader even if you only read 1 page a year, 1 word a year. I count that. But for myself, I feel like I need to read more to count myself. It's kind of the old, you treat yourself harsher than other people. But for me, I don't mind that because it hopefully will get me to read more. And that's what we want. We want to read more. And yeah, if you guys have any book recommendations down below, especially for books that got you back into reading, please drop them down below. I'd absolutely love that. The one book I will always talk about when it comes to me for a book that got me back into reading was Homeland by R.A. Salvatore. 100% recommend. It is a brilliant book. I've got more of the series, so I need to reread the series so then I can go read the new books. I'm so excited to get through them because honestly, it is probably my favourite series of all times. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it for the 6-month review. Hopefully this will motivate me to do better with the next 6 months, and yeah, let's see if I actually hit that reading goal. I feel like the writing goal, I'm pretty confident in getting that done, but I have to make sure I don't become complacent because of my confidence. So we'll see how that goes. I'll report back in 6 months, and yeah, definitely let me know down below if you have any goals that you want to reach for this year, and in 6 months we'll come back together and see whether or not we reach those goals. So good luck with them.